While teaching at the Lutheran School of Theology at Chicago, Reverend Craig Satterlee would often say to his students that it doesn't take a lot to remind people that the world is not perfect or could be better. Our job as preachers is to spend the bulk of the sermon pointing to the good news of Jesus Christ and to help them see what God is doing in the face of the world's wickedness. His point, which I find to be true so often, is that there are many sermons that are 95% the horrors of the world, with only 5% Jesus snuck in at the end. In truth, people know what is not perfect in their lives better than any preacher could. People see things that scare them, frighten them, and confuse them in the headlines every day. And sermons should not compound that fear or anxiety. Just the opposite, sermons should offer hope and grace, a respite from the fear of the world in the promises of God made manifest in Jesus Christ. Finding that respite, that solace, that hope in the midst of the world and our lives does not mean ignoring things. The call of Christ is not like the call of an ostrich, to stick one's head in the ground when fear arrives. When I consider the last 7 days, or the last 2 weeks even, I see so much fear and hatred, chaos and violence. It is worth a moment to consider the realities of the world at hand, not to glorify or sanctify or lionize or demonize, but to take a breath and to make a space for feeling and grieving, to remind ourselves that through it all, and it has been so much recently, that we are not alone, that Christ is with us, and that we are here for each other. This past Thursday was September 11th, a day fraught with emotions. 11 days prior, in the sermon, we lamented the murder of 2 school children, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, shot at a Catholic school in Minnesota. During the days in between, a Ukrainian woman was stabbed to death on a bus in Charlotte, North Carolina, trying to get home from work. A political commentator was assassinated at a college in Utah having a public debate, and then another school shooting occurred in Colorado. These are hard and challenging days. Sadness and loss hang heavy. In the wake of such tragedies, it seems to me as though the power of fear is trumping kindness, the power of anger is trumping decency, and the power of self-righteousness is trumping civility. As people of faith, we are not to condone murder or violence of any kind. Murder is wicked. Politicizing death is shameful. And the thought that a culture steeped with violence can use violence to curtail violence is foolish, illogical, and misguided. Evilness and wickedness remind us of the broken reality of this world that we share. Though to simply say, the world is wicked and that's complicated, is to sidestep the responsibility of the church to name evil in the world and then to act. Evilness and wickedness have names. Gun violence is evil. It is an ever-present threat that we have seemingly willingly come to accept as an unavoidable part of our life together. I don't believe that it's complicated. I believe that what it is sad. Our failure to care for and to support those with mental health issues, both keeping them safe and others safe from them, is a wicked failing of humanity. Humanity's inability or even refusal to see humanity in one another reveals a disconnected truth, that we are a overconnected people who refuse to connect on the most basic of levels, as people, with friends and families and loved ones. In the midst of all this, last week was also National Suicide Awareness Week. For the students at Capital University, I put together a liturgy of remembrance and care for all those that we have loved and lost along the way. We promoted it across campus, though when the day came, Thursday night, September 11th, no students attended. This makes sense to me. With everything else in the world, asking people to make more room, to hold more space for sorrow, grief, and loss, that was a big ask. Emotional bandwidth is not infinite. My hope is that even one student simply saw that we were offering this time of prayer, and in seeing it, were reminded that they are not alone, that others were making a space for them, thinking of them, and caring for them, that in the face of sadness and darkness, there was action reminding them of God's presence and love in and for the world. In the darkness of the worst of humanity, I pray you remember that there is a light in the darkness, and the darkness will never defeat it. This is the story we share as Christians. This is the good news that we proclaim. It was at the tomb in the shadow of death where Jesus first surprised Mary and those other first witnesses. It was in a room with locked doors because of fear of the world outside that Jesus appeared to the disciples. It is why we adorn our sanctuaries and ourselves with crosses. The cross of Christ is an ancient Christian symbol that reminds us that death is not the end, and in the darkness is where Christ comes to us. On these days that can feel so isolating and so lonely, I pray that you reach out to family, to friends, and to each other. My door is always open. Know you can reach out, and I am here for you too. In the face of such suffocation, be reminded that where two or more are gathered, in His name, Christ is there. The name of Christ is a name of peace and of grace. It's a name that invokes loving our enemies and caring for the widow and the immigrant. The name of Christ is a blessing to the world as it carries a peace that passes all understanding and a reminder that we are not alone. We are also reminders to each other that we are not alone. We are a community that holds space for each other, supporting one another as we walk through life together. These are the reminders that God has given us: the name of Christ, the cross of Christ, and this community of Christ. Reminders of God's love for the cosmos, that is, all of creation. Reminders that we are called to pick up our crosses and follow Him. Reminders that we are not in this alone, but are here to love and care for one another. In His name, Amen.